Hey, IDS 302 summer session A. Good morning, it's June 3rd. Let's get to it, huh? Um, okay, regarding the step ones, as you know, I've sent out a number of announcements on that. Hopefully that last one really helps that I sent this morning. There was a sample, there was a paper submitted last week, 100 points out of 100. And because I didn't have a sample previous to this with the specific subheadings we're using in this course, I wanted you to see it, okay? And not only see it, but to decide then if your paper could use some improvement. Note how it's laid out, nice and subheadings, and as well as the works cited list, alphabetized, hanging paragraphs, double line spacing. Hopefully this will give you a real clear idea of what I'm looking for. Okay, so if you want to go ahead, um, if I've spoken to you already, you kind of know where I'm coming from, go ahead and resubmit a resubmission. That's fine. If you're having trouble with that, let me know. If I haven't spoken to you yet and you want to resubmit, please take the time to set up a call or a Zoom meeting with me. I've got Zoom meetings all day. I'll probably be hanging out in that room for quite some time. So just let me know when your availability is. All right. Let me just say first, though, that overwhelmingly your papers were fabulous in terms of no I, me, my, etc. That is awesome. I haven't never seen that before out of a class. You really got it the first time, and I want to congratulate you for that because it can be a real sticking point when students in research relate too much about me, my, I. You guys did fabulous. Okay, so thank you for that. Remember, there's a quiz number 2 is due on the 6th, and it's 2 questions, essay style questions. Think outside the box there. This is one of your few remaining opportunities to target yourself. Not that doesn't mean you need to use I, me, my, but it also means that you kind of can decide what to write about here. So um, just work on that and get that in. Okay, so looking ahead and looking through everything again, the subsections, the subheadings, they're important. Notice those on the sample. Okay, notice those. I think I posted a research paper that was originally done and the table of contents. Those subheadings should be in the paper, okay, not just kind of woven in the paper, right? So let me know if you're having trouble with that, but I'm hoping you can see that now, all right? A couple other things to avoid, hyperbole, all right? The exaggeration of something. Research is a more of a uh, exercise in humility also, right? So remember, you're not proving anything. Remember, you're not going to solve major wicked problems, as we say. You're not gonna, you're not, be realistic, okay? Your research is not going to be published, okay? So, about bringing awareness or doing this, that's hyperbole, okay? It's okay to keep it down, okay? You don't earn points by overpromising, all right? So, in terms of the purpose of your study, I'm going to give you a tip. I didn't require this or anything, but this is a way to look at it. Since I introduced that question, remember what are some of the opinions, perceptions, and experiences regarding blank, comma, revealed in a survey of random adults, question mark. The purpose of your study then is to take that topic you have, that problem you have, and then the purpose would be to obtain a snapshot, if you will, of opinions, perceptions, experiences regarding blank from a group of random adults in an effort to perhaps identify some trends, some feelings, to some markers that you can correlate maybe with age or with gender, right? So the purpose is just that. It's to identify those things and then to add, however incrementally, to the body of knowledge in that field for that problem. Okay, so it's a rather simplified purpose. Feel free to use it. Okay, and put it in your own words or use mine, whatever you want to do on that, okay? Because that's the purpose. The significance of the study, again, it's not an overwhelming hyperbolic type of significance. The significance of the study is that uh, it may or may not affirm certain things already found in research, in your research that you're looking at leading up to it. It may challenge those findings. It may reveal certain things, new things. It may, and notice I'm not using absolutes like will and is and always and never, okay, or proof. I'm using uh, may, okay, certain trends, possibly, maybe, might. That's good to do those things, okay, especially as you're going through this, all right? So that's important. Formatting wise, don't list or don't number things like that, like some people did. Just take those numbers out of there. All right, it's not a list on that. And look at the sample that I posted, all the samples. Again, not to confuse you, but when you go into test Tanner step 2, the samples I post, one is I'm posting the same sample I am for step 1 to let you see those sections again and how it's nicely formatted and how the works cited list looks, that you should try to aim for that. You should aim for that. It shouldn't be a problem. There's no big gaps. All right. And I want you to, the other sample is a step 2 from the last class, but we did not use um, the subheadings in that class. We just wrote it through, and I felt that organizing it more in terms of subheadings would be better, and that's what we're doing in this class. I don't have a sample for that, but put that together, okay? The third sample is a table of contents, the same one I posted. It's not to be used in this paper, it's to be used at the end of this paper, right? At step 5, that's your table of contents. So that's why I want you to reflect on the context of what you're doing, as well as to note that those subheadings serve a purpose because they are matched up with the table of contents, okay? Let's just do Easter egg number 1 right away and just call it subheadings, okay? I think you got that. All right, as you move forward, also citations. Again, your works cited list, every citation in there should match what's in the paper, and conversely, what's in the paper should be in the works cited list. Um, if you have author's name and you are obviously doing your works cited list alphabetically, by last name, look at Purdue OWL. That's how I learned. Nobody told me, no instructor, no professor. And I was 50 some years old when I learned how to do it. I had to go to Purdue OWL, but I saw examples of every single type of citation that I wanted to make. The examples were there and they were clear, whether it was one author or 6 authors, how to cite it in the paper, how to put it into the works cited list. That's where you go. Look under the APA formatting. I've provided links in the in your opening module also. If you have trouble finding that, let me know. If you're not, you just Google Purdue OWL APA formatting and you'll get it, okay? It's going to be important that you cite correctly. Again, I don't want to be so micromanaging here that you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's simple. You do the quote or you do the what you're taking out of that piece, and after you're done with it, before punctuation, you have your last word and you have your space, you have your opening parentheses, you have a last name, comma, space, year, comma, and page number. If you have that, look at Purdue OWL. Then you have your closed parentheses, then you have your period or your question mark or what have you, okay? If it's a quote, the quotation, the closed quotes goes before the citation. All you have to do is look for examples of this stuff, and you'll find it, okay? It's pretty simple. Don't wing it. Because once you know how to do all this, it's a piece of cake. It's like learning how to drive a car. You get in there, you're like, oh my God, it's like a spaceship in here. What do I do, right? What do I touch? What do I not touch? But now you do it without even thinking about it, right? It's the same way with anything. Learn how to do it right, and you won't have to worry about it. You get back on the horse and you ride it. Okay. So I want to make sure that you do that appropriately, because once you do it, you don't have to worry anymore. Okay, about anything like those easy points, right? Okay. Let's talk about sources. Okay, because we're going to be getting more heavily into sources that you're going to cite, because research always builds on previous research, previous information. Okay. Your obligation is to seek out peer-reviewed sources, legitimate scholarly sources, and use what you find there and pull it forward into yours, right? So I should have mentioned this before and I didn't. The dictionary, lousy source, okay? The dictionary is just a lousy source. You are on the inside now. You're on the inside of whether you're studying climate change, sustainability, business, communications. You're on the inside of the academy, all right? And you'll find that out when you graduate and Dr. Crow says, you know, welcome to the Academy of Scholars, right? You're inside. So you don't have to do the outside things, you know, like we say, research a trip. Yeah, but it's not research in the academy. And the dictionary is just for, I'm going to look up a word. You should be using definitions and ideas that are beyond the dictionary. Okay, I don't need to know if it's a noun or not, right? The same with Wikipedia, should never be used in academic scholarly research. All right, you should stay away from the .coms, especially example what I see a lot of for years, Forbes.com, Investopedia, anything with a pedia, encyclopedia, Investopedia, stay away from those. The .coms, when you look at it, notice that there's probably, without a doubt, going to be advertising on it, okay? And if that's the case, then what does advertising do? It's supposed to pull in revenue. What does revenue mean? There's a bias attached. This is why we go with peer-reviewed. Journals, academic scholarly journals are so key for this. They're not the only source, but they're a great source because they're peer-reviewed. They're supported by the associations that they are involved with, whether it's psychiatric or law or business, and they don't seek revenue. They have a peers that edit these things, that review these things before they're published in their journals. That's where you go. Now, how do you get there? You can go to the ASU library website, which you all have access to. No paywalls, by the way, going through there. You go in there and you do a search on whatever topic you'd like to search. And you know how to search nowadays. Come on. Use your imagination. Try more than one different way to search things, right? And then on the right side of that website, you're going to see filters. And you can filter for A, peer-reviewed, B, full text online. You filter that, and now you have access to all those documents that come up, okay? That's where you can really impress in an article, okay, in a research paper by using those kinds of sources that inform your work. They'll challenge your work. They go against it. They support it. They affirm it. But this is what you're going to use, all right, especially in steps 3 and 4. But as we get into step 2, I still want you to be going after those things, okay? Remember, you're doing an upper level course. This is research at an academic level. And we've seen some of these research papers that are just way over my head and stuff, but that's, you know, postdoc stuff. Obviously, you know, I've gotten reviews on this class. Well, I'm never going to do research as long as I live. Why did I have to do this? Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? You had to do it to graduate, but to become a better consumer of knowledge, right? To understand what the, no, I'm not going to say what the hell. I'm going to say what the fake news is and what it's not, right? What does humanity know? What does certain areas know about certain things that are not provable, but they've been researched and peer reviewed? And for example, I just saw something today on Twitter. The Lancet, which is a medical journal, has now gone back to researchers that did their research on the hydrochloroquine or whatever that drug was, and saying we've been questioned about your data, and we need to get some more information. So they published it, but now they're openly backpedaling and saying, wait a second, we might have some questions about this data that we didn't notice the first time around, but because of the members, people showing things, there could be some changes there, okay? So maybe all the deaths that they claim were from it, maybe it's not as bad, maybe, you know, maybe it's better than we thought, worse than we thought, I don't know. But this is how research polices itself in terms of our knowledge, okay? It's not just a Facebook post, right? Okay, so that's important. So try to avoid the .coms. Yes, let's say that I would say that if you had 25% of .coms in a works cited list, okay. If you find it that it's appropriate, that it really contributes to your writing without jeopardizing credibility of it, then okay. All right, I'm gonna let you be the judge on that, okay? But shouldn't be too many .coms. .org's a little different. It's kind of halfway between .com and peer-reviewed. The thing about .coms, though, let's just be frank here, okay? It's the easy way out, right? It's the easy way. Okay, it's the path of least resistance to Google something and go there and use it. If your link says blog in it, shouldn't be used. Shouldn't be used. Okay. Peer-reviewed. Now, primary research sources means that you're taking, it's like there's no separation. The researchers did this, they're the researchers, you're using them. That's a primary source. Okay. A peer-reviewed source is one that has gone through peer review. Okay. They're both very similar and they're both very legitimate. Okay. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. If you have a source that you're not sure about, shoot me a link in an email. Ask me what I think about it. I'll tell you. Okay. So let's go with that. All right. So Easter egg number 2 is peer-reviewed sources. All right. Now, peer-reviewed sources can be primary as well because they're peer reviewing the primary research, which is typically what it is. But the primary research could come directly from the researchers as well. Okay. But it should be peer reviewed. All right, I think you got my point. Okay, so let's take a look at step 2. Now, the instructions are comprehensive. I put a lot in here, okay? But step two is almost self-explanatory. Justify an interdisciplinary approach. What meaningful questions can you ask about the issue or problem? How are those questions interdisciplinary? What makes them meaningful? Now, for this step, check out page 71. Okay, 71 is where it's at. Basically, I think right about in here, he talks about some of these aspects of step 2. I won't go through and waste your time because you can read that, right? About what this is. All right, so here's what I'm saying here. Along with an analysis, you will include other questions that are insightful, interdisciplinary, integrative, rhetorical, contemplative, etc. These are questions which you don't have to answer there, okay? I should say you don't have to. I say you don't answer here, but instead those questions which make this a legitimate interdisciplinary research question or topic. There are 3 sections: interdisciplinary justification, assumptions of the study. Now here's where you can go ahead and include a hypothesis. Let the reader know what you consider, what the current researcher, what the results could likely show, might show. All right. Again, not to prove anything, no I, me, my, it's a challenging thing, but there's assumptions of the study. The study assumes, okay, that there is data to be had, trends to be identified, things to be learned from this exercise, from conducting this research, okay? It's not a long section. The first section is the longest, just give you that tip. Limitations of the study. Okay, here's the tip. You're watching this, you get the answer. What are your limitations of your study? Limitation of the study is that this research is being conducted in an undergraduate course with researcher. The current researcher has limited experience in conducting research. The research is being conducted in a very brief period, 6 weeks, limiting the scope of the research. And the I can't think of the word. I'm thinking about like limiting the see, I get nervous on camera. It limits the I hate to use the word importance of the study, but it might limit the quantity of and quality of contribution to the field of knowledge in this area. But it will contribute something. It'll contribute a snapshot, right? The limitation, those are the limitations of the study. Okay, that's it. At the time, the amount of participants will be limited because of the timing. These are limitations that you can put right on the table. It's fine. Okay, this is you're setting the expectation appropriately. All right, it's worth up to 100 points. Remember, these papers are 100 points each. These are 20%. 10% of your final grade on these. These are big, all right? So again, I have those samples listed there, and I also have a list, an extensive list of formatting expectations. So you can see that, make your own checklist out of that, copy, paste it somewhere, make sure you follow those, and boom, you're gonna have it, right? I wanted to write that down. Again, going back to the interdisciplinary justification, the main meat of this step, you're going to ask those questions. about your topic, and like I said, they seem like rhetorical questions. You're not going to answer them. The research answer them, but you're going to justify it. Okay. You can think of an example here, and I can go way deep. Again, it's off the top of my head. The question remains: what impact does Second Amendment rights have on our culture? Okay. Are they beneficial? Are they not? I mean, saying that this would just, you're trying to justify doing a study on Second Amendment gun rights or something. Can there be modifications made? What, so think of your topic and then go with that. Okay. What are the implications of climate change for our generation and future generations? And why is that interdisciplinary? Why is it important that we consider the sustainability and natural resource impacts of that, as well as the economic and political as well? Expand on those things. Think about outside the box. You don't have to just use your concentrations. You can go anywhere with this, and I'm going to appreciate those who stretch it. You don't have to go crazy and give a whole list of things that are totally irrelevant. But if you can, show disciplines that are not readily apparent or not your concentrations, that's great. Okay. All right. So hopefully this all helps you out regarding this. Step 2, I look forward. Give me a holler when you if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Hope you all have a good day. Hope you all safe out there. I don't have much to say about anything else. It's a tough world we're living in right now, and hopefully you guys will make it a lot better. All right. So let's go with Easter egg number 3, which is think. All right. I really have no imagination. I'm sorry. You guys have a great weekend. Forks up. I know I'm meeting some of you on Zoom today. Anybody else that wants to get a spot in there, just let me know. Okay. See you later.